Okay, because there's a difference between being wronged and being annoyed was the word I could come up with. Okay, and so there's a difference there, right? Okay, like for instance, you could be annoyed at my fashion sense. I mean, you might look at me and say, why in the world does he wear Hawaiian shirts? This makes no... Tom Selleck did. And you ladies all like Tom Selleck. But anyway, so my fashion sense may annoy you. It may aggravate you at times. And it might, really hurt your fashion conscience type thing. But it's not a sin. I don't need forgiveness. I simply need your patience and your acceptance for the way that I dress. Okay, so forgiveness is reserved for when somebody wrongs you, when somebody hurts you, when somebody sins against you. And so there's this difference between being wronged and this being annoyed. So there's a difference. Forgiveness isn't resuming a relationship without changes. Okay, for our part, God calls us and says that forgiveness and resuming a relationship are two different things. We're called to forgive, and we're called to forgive instantly. We're called to forgive. But trust in a relationship, trust must be built up over time. See, I'll maintain, I think a lot of people are afraid to forgive somebody because they think that if they forgive, then they've got to enter that relationship right back to the way it was. No. Trust needs to be built up over time. And I need to go off on a little bit of a tangent here, especially when there's any type of abuse or mistreatment taking place. We can forgive, but doesn't mean you go into that relationship immediately. You need to make sure people are safe. You need to make sure that the proper actions are taken, that the proper care is taken to protect people. So do you understand there's a difference between trust and forgiveness? Forgiveness is your responsibility, and it's unconditional, it's immediate. But trust takes time to build up. Relationships take time to restore. And forgiveness is not forgetting what happened. I think this is a big misunderstanding. Okay, this is a big misconception among Christians because we love that old cliche, and it sounds so cute, it sounds so cuddly, doesn't it? Forgive and forget. We think we're called to forgive, and when we forgive somebody, that we actually forget what took place. The only problem is that's impossible. It's impossible to forgive and forget. I mean, it's impossible to forget. All right? I mean, something took place. You don't forget it. You have the scars. You have the wounds from it. And the scars may never go away, but you can continue to forgive. You can continue to restore that relationship. I ride a bicycle, and here in St. Petersburg, Florida, if I ever get run over, it's going to be by a Canadian, first of all. Okay, so I apologize for all the Canadians, but it's true. Okay, if I get run over, it's going to be by a Canadian. Because when they're driving, I don't think they're used to seeing people on the road in bicycles, is what it is. It's so cold up there. Anyway, so they drive, and you ever think about this? When you're driving, whatever you're looking at, whatever you're focusing on, is the direction that the car goes. Right? And so if they're watching me ride my bike on the side of the road, well, the car inadvertently, unconsciously, is heading right toward me. All right? And then they kind of wake up and swerve away. Would you do the same thing? You're over here. It looks like you're confessing over here. Anyway, so and so that's what happens. The same thing is true in life. I mean, have you ever tried to forget something? I mean, it's impossible. When you try to forget something, it's impossible because you're so focused on it that you can't forget about it. You're so focused on it that it kind of starts to consume you, consume your life, consume your train of thought, and you can't budge off of it. But there's something better than forgetting. And I think if we can learn this, it's going to take us to a new level of spiritual maturity, a new level of spiritual growth. It's remembering how you've been hurt. It's not doing away with the scars, but realizing how God can bring good even out of the bad.